Hey everyone, second installment of A Movie a Day. Today I'm going to be talking about the movie Miss You Already. Came out in 2015, stars Drew Barrymore, Toni Collette, who uh, starred in Sixth Sense, Little Miss Sunshine, a few other movies. She's in a lot of stuff. And then the only other person that I recognized was Dominic Cooper, which he plays Howard Stark in the whole Marvel franchise. And then if you don't know who Drew Barrymore is, just stop watching the video. Um, so, premise of the movie, and the trailer does a pretty good job of establishing everything and without giving everything away. So I think I'm going to try to do the same. I'll have a spoiler alert halfway through the video. Um, but the premise is that Tony's character has cancer, and she is battling with it pretty much throughout the entire movie. And Drew Barrymore is kind of just there for her through all the tough times because they're such good friends. The movie starts out, they're in middle school. Drew Barrymore's character comes over from America, and Tony makes fun of her, and then they're friends for life. I guess that's how girls work. Um, Fast forward to Tony meets Dominic Cooper's character in college. He's in a band, he's a musician, he's hot, she likes him, they do stuff. Um, Fast forward, she comes in, I'm pregnant, oh my god, Dominic Cooper, okay, let's do this. So fast forward again, baby, fast forward second time, baby two, and then fast forward for the final time, and they have a house. So they're having a wonderful life, up until the point that Tony's character gets cancer. And from what I can take from the movie is Tony was going in for checkups and stuff regularly, and then she missed a very long time, and then she came in, and the doctor's like, yeah, you have extremely malignant cancer, and you should have come in earlier. So, lesson all of you, go get tested. So all the while, Drew Barrymore is kind of just like in the background. She's Tony's best friend, and and she's just hanging out, and they go everywhere together, and they hang out together, and are best friends. But she has a significant other, and she's trying to get pregnant, and they can't. And there's this whole like little routine that they have to or schedule that they're trying to keep in order to get pregnant and everything. But her significant other. He works on like an oil rig or something, so he's not really around very often. So a lot of times you just see him through like Skype and stuff. Um, but anyway, so Tony, she learns that she has cancer. A week goes by without telling anyone, and then she calls up Drew Barrymore. And the trailer kind of makes it seem like there's this huge thing like before, like maybe halfway through the movie you find out, but it's like 5 minutes in, so it's very sad movie. Yeah, spoiler alert on that. Very, very sad movie. If you're a sadistic type of person who just loves to cry, you need a good cry, this is the movie for you. Um, so she tells Drew Barrymore, and then she tells her family. There's the whole thing in the trailer where there's the cartoon thing about explaining chemotherapy and stuff. So she does chemotherapy for the entire allotted time, and there's the whole kind of side story with them going to that. And so then the chemotherapy doesn't work, and then she has a double mastectomy. Um, which I didn't know that had a T in there, by the way, for those of you that don't know how to spell mastectomy. Um, and so you kind of think like, oh, well, that should be it then. Like, they lopped off her chest. It should be done, right? It should be, you can't have breast cancer without, the breasts. Anyway, so they kind of move forward a little bit, and obviously Tony's character is extremely upset because she liked her figure, and she liked everything, and everything was going for her. So she gets upset, and her husband doesn't really want to engage with her anymore. She thinks it's because of the whole cancer thing. She also loses her hair because of the chemotherapy, so then she needs a wig. And she left her hair, and she left her chest, and everything's going downhill. So then, of course, Drew Barrymore does get pregnant and doesn't want to tell Tony's character because Tony's on the downhill and Drew's coming up. So there's kind of the juxtaposition between the two, and you have that throughout the entire movie up until um, so spoilers if you want to watch it from here, go ahead. Um, so Tony takes after this like party that her husband gave her with all her friends and family and stuff. She gets pissed, and they take a cab 2.5 hours away to I forget the English town, but it's very far away, and they've always wanted to go. So Tony and Drew go up, and they spend time in this bed and breakfast or something, and Drew thinks that everything is getting better. She's having fun and everything, and then she finds out that in actuality, Tony's character has been cheating on her husband with this side candy that's going on. And Drew finds this out, and she's like, "Wait, this is why you brought us here? Like, this is ridiculous." And like they cut ties. They cut it. So Drew kind of goes her own way, and she has going through all this stuff. Um, Up until she is going to have the baby, and she's in the hospital room, and her husband is not there because, like I said, he's on the oil rig, so he's unavailable. And so it, it, Tony's character is supposed to go. While Drew Barrymore was continuously getting pregnant, Tony's character then gets brain cancer, which I'm not a doctor, and I'm not really sure how it works with cancer, but I would assume that with breast cancer, it would go elsewhere before, like, straight to the brain. But my wife was saying that perhaps the writers were saying that, it's starting to get to the end of the movie, you need this girl to die off, like, all right, brain cancer, like very, very bad brain cancer, and go, 2 weeks to live. So she's in hospice, and Tony's character is in hospice, and very weak. And Drew calls her and is like, "Oh my God, I'm having the baby. My husband's not here. You have to come." And Tony's character's mother, who you just despise throughout the entire movie because she's just so egotistical and selfish and all that stuff. And she redeems herself by sneaking her out of the hospice and taking her to go see Drew Barrymore give birth. And then they Skype whatever the husband on the oil rig, and there's like a bunch of people behind him, which is kind of weird. Um, and so they're able to see Drew give birth and everything, and it's kind of this like, oh, it's new life, and it's a very, very happy and very bubbly. And then like 2 minutes later, Tony dies, and it's horrible, bawling my eyes out. Like I said, extremely sad. If you want to cry, just skip to the back, skip to like the last 15 minutes of the movie. Uh, and Drew is there, of course, when Tony dies, and that's the whole thing. And then her husband walks in, and he sees, and my wife's bawling, and I'm bawling, and it's just. But it was a good movie. Drew Barrymore was fantastic, very good movie. Toni Collette was all right. I thought that whoever did makeup was fantastic because I had to look it up because Drew Barrymore is 41 and Toni Collette is 44, and they did. I thought miles apart, but apparently not. So yeah, decent movie. Not my cup of tea, but I enjoyed it. It was good. Um, like I said, had a good cry. It was good. Hopefully we can lighten it up for installment number 3. Cool.